Hi guys, got some more work on the TC125 we're going to do today. I've got, this is just a menagerie of little operations that has to go, things that are ready to go back on the bike. And I've got the frame sitting over here. We're going to get the swing arm on, the triple tree, and a few other odds and ends. Uh, I'm going to start off over here at the bench. I've got some stuff I need to do by the vise, so we'll do those and then we'll move over to the table and do those jobs. So let's follow along here. Okay, if you've been following this series along, you'd remember that one of the shocks didn't have a what would you call that, a bushing, I guess, in here on, like the bottom one. I've got three of them and none in this one, and I don't think there ever was one, because you can kind of see how it's deformed the rubber from the shock moving back and forth. And what I did was I turned one out on the lathe, and it's a little bit oversized because the rubber is oversized. And I just went ahead, and when I was doing the zinc plating and everything else, I zinc plated the new bushing. And all we're going to do here is just, I'm going to take a little Ruglide, which is the same stuff that they use to put your tires on. It's slick. I'm hoping that'll just drive in there. Yeah, looks good to me. Now I was going to put these shocks together, but the retainers are still down at the chrome plater. So as soon as those come back, I will put these together and then get them on the bike also. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to get the rubbers on the foot pegs. And the same thing, I replated these. That way we'll have some corrosion preventative on here. Because if you remember right, I ground this down here, so this was bare metal. And the rest of this wasn't all that great either. So same thing, I've got this oriented the way I want it. And I'm just going to put a little Ruglide on it. And there you go. That's our 1 foot peg. And here's the other one. Put a little lubricant on it. Kind of wants to get off center here, so you've got to kind of move it around. So there you go. We got both our foot pegs ready to go with the Yamaha rubbers. Well, this whole piece is Yamaha, actually. But it's just nice to go ahead and get the rust preventative here. So the first time you wash the bike, it doesn't turn into a rust bucket. Okay, then I think we're done here, and I'm going to move over to the table where the frame's sitting. Okay, I just I assembled one of these. I figured I'd better do that before I move over to the bench. But here's what it looks like. This is how it looks after I peened it over. And you can see there's plenty of room right here. So this can actually float through a little bit. So you're not squeezing this together. You don't want to do that, or otherwise this is not going to operate. So let me see if I can get this one. It's kind of hard lining up the spring and everything, but you put the tail, the short or the straight tail, into the foot peg like this, and you have to kind of fight it because it wants to slide back in there. So let's see here. How's that go? Like that. So you try to hook that spring over the top right there. And then you want to remember that the head is going to be to the top. So it's going to go in on this side. You kind of need about 6 or 7 hands here. My spring disappeared on me, so it's just part of it. Just get a punch stuck through there. That holds the spring. I'm going to try to just leave that punch in there and kind of weasel this thing down in there. Okay. Okay, you can see I think you can anyway, the spring in there, and it's hooked up here. It's just like it's made for it. Works just like it should, like it does on a Yamaha. There it's through. Now, I just take a little piece of aluminum here and stick it in my vise to peen this over. I don't want to destroy the finish that I've got here already. You know, I'm kind of thinking I've got something messed up here. What in the world is it? Let me figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, all that trying to make sure I had the rubber on right, and I still had it on wrong. So I had to take it back off and reinstall it. Okay, so this will set like this, operate like that. The head is up toward the top. So just so I don't tear up my finish that I just put on the hardware there, I'm going to set it on top of some aluminum, and then we'll start peening it. And that's what this end of a ball peen hammer is for. So there you go. Okay, got the foot pegs assembled. Now we'll go over to the table. Okay, let's just start with the triple tree. I've already pre-greased and I've got the bearings all set. So hopefully I won't knock anything loose. And we'll just get right up in there. Install our upper race. And we've got let's get rid of some of that extra there. Get our dust cover, and then our, oops, I guess, yeah, that goes on. And then the upper triple tree. All this tag wanting to peel off here now. Have to get some glue and try to get it back down there. All right. Now here's the tool that we made for the triple tree. Just going to move it over here and give her a little snug. Doesn't take very much. That ought to do. Once that's up, we install our upper, and it gets, of course, the big washer and bolt. Okay, and along with that, let's see here, we've got 22. Just going to snug it up here for now. Won't be able to really line anything up or anything until I get the forks back. And they're down and getting re-chromed also. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to get that lock in there first. Yep, I do, I think. Let's see, is there a way to do that? Oh, there is. You can get one screw through here and the other screw through this hole. So we're good. Okay. I remember that on the TS250 now that is possible to do with this all assembled. All right, we've got our handlebar clamp and bolts here. And you know, the only reason I'm putting a lot of this stuff on, some of it's going to have to be removed, as you can tell, but once it's refinished, it's safer on the bike than it is on my cart or anywhere else. It's just, it's all together, it keeps you from getting it lost, and less apt to get damaged. All right, and here's another one of those things that the switch just going to go up here, and it gets a couple 6mm bolts if I can get it started there. Maybe I can do a better job with the driver. There we go. And of course all this has to come back off. But it's a good thing to trial fit everything, make sure that it's gonna, you know, you don't need to chase threads, or maybe the bolts are too long or whatever. You know, it's a good way to just make sure everything is gonna work. Okay, I think we'll get down to the foot pegs here. Get those on. I'm going to just flip this over. And do one side, then do the other. Right size. If you're doing this, guys, it's just really good to use all new hardware if you can. I try to keep most of this stuff on hand that I use a lot of. it's cheaper to buy them online from a bolt distributor than it is to go to the hardware store and pay $4 a bolt. I did have to go to the hardware store and pick up a couple things, and it makes me mad every time I go. Things cost so much, and you know, they at the bolt bin they usually have full boxes of the same bolts or nuts or whatever, and you can buy a box for what you can buy four bolts for. So that's definitely the way to go. Okay. Just want to show you this. Now let's get the other side on, and then I'll show you. Okay. Same thing over here. Can't seem to get it started. There it goes. And then on this side, remember to put your, let's see, how does this thing go? I think it goes like this. Your stop for your Kickstarter. Need my socket and everything here to help get me started. This has got a little tang on the top so that it keeps it in position. Is that right? I think it is. Kickstarter comes, yeah, I believe it comes right there. If not, I can move it. Okay. Both pegs on. Go back up here to the front, and I need to finish my job up here. We've got the chrome bolts. Just put a little oil on them for the forks. This is all original hardware. I just put it in the de-rusting agent. It had some a little bit of surface rust on it, they turned out real nice. There's only a couple bolts that I'm going to have to get new that are chrome, because chromes are insanely expensive, as anybody knows that has bought them. Actually, I did have to get these four chrome washers, and they're almost $2 a piece. Insane. Okay, but there they are, and I think a lot of this is still actually available from Suzuki, the chrome hardware, but there again, it's some of that stuff like that. The later years, you know, maybe 76 up or something like that, I believe they use black hardware. So you get the bolts, but they'll be black. So be aware of what you're getting there. Okay, now let's get you back around to the back here. And we're going to get our swing arm installed. I've got it laying here, and remember before we put the new bushings in, we reconditioned the outers, made new inners, and they're in. And if you're going to put a new chain guard on, you need to put it on now. And we also have our seals that go here on the end. Actually, I'm going to put a little more lubricant on them. I took those apart to replate them, so everything's kind of wanting to fall out again. So just put a little grease in them, and that'll hold everything in place. You've got the O-ring and the flat washer that goes in there. And this is the bolt that I replated. Almost looks like chrome. Everything actually did very good in the plater this time. I think it's probably attributed to new solution. And this really doesn't need to be lubricated, other than just for corrosion control, which we shouldn't have any problem with all that new zinc on there. All right. A little more grease. I'm hoping that's going to kind of help hold it on there. Got a lot of things going on here that will contribute to whether it's an easy job or not. Okay. See if we can get this stabbed in here without losing stuff too much. Yeah. It's kind of what happens with, you need 3 or 4 hands. Maybe it's going to give it up here. Okay. And I'm thinking it goes in from this side. Can't remember for sure. Had it lined up on the other side. There. I think everything's still there. Okay. All the way through. washer and the lock nut. I'll have to look at the IPB and see which way that really goes. I think that's right though. So let's see, what do we got here? These are 19? Yeah. There we go. I'd sure like to put those shocks on, but it just isn't gonna work for it today. All right, next thing I think we'll get on here is the brake stay. Let me roll this thing over, maybe I can get it a little better position. Okay, we've got a brake stay, and this goes with the bend out here. You could put it in this way or this way. This is the correct way. And the head of the bolt goes to the outside. And I think I'm supposed to have a lock washer there. See if I can snag one. There. And your nut. And that gets tightened up. Let's see, we've got 14 underneath and 12 on top. The head's probably in your way. Okay. And then you get a hitch pin. It goes in there to hold it as a safety. Okay, I think that's it on, nope, get the brake lever. Get the brake lever on there, on this side. You've got your spring, see up there? Get you a little bit closer. You've got your spring. It's going to hook on there. Let's get a little grease on this. Just a little bit around the stud there. Okay, the spring is going to go in like that. So it goes on here and hooks underneath, and then it slides in, and there's a little hole right here between the boss for the brake pedal and the, I gotta get her down here a little further, there, and the swing arm pivot. And it's trying to be one of those things. Just need to be able to move it a little bit. There it goes. And then that's I think that needs to go under, doesn't it? Yeah, surely it does. No, it's going to have to go over. Okay, you're watching me be confused. I think I'm going to have to get it up here how the thing sets so I can kind of tell. Oh boy, I'm all messed up. Oh, get out of here. It's not time to eat. Let me get this thing turned around where I can get to it. Okay. I was putting the spring at the wrong place. Now it's in here. Remember to put your flat washer on it and your cotter key in. Now, you can see here, I was trying to put the spring here, up here. Goes on the bottom, and then you can tell right in there, see the tip of the spring. It goes into that hole between the stud and the bolt for the swing arm. It goes over the foot peg, and that's kind of unusual. Usually those things go underneath. All right, so we've got our stop that'll go in here. I'll have to look at the old one. I'm going to put a new hardware in there. And let's see, I think we're down to putting our foot pegs on the back here. Get the one on the right side here that it's kind of a special little deal with the lock that goes into the foot peg, and that I believe goes back. I put that there. I guess I shouldn't have put a zip tie on it. I thought I was being smart. I have to figure out a different way to keep it from falling down all the time. Okay, so it locks in so that this is up and out of the way. And you've got your lock washer nut. And that's a 17, I think. Yeah. Okay. And when I get the frame back up, we'll put the other one in. And on this side, it's just a straight screw-in affair with a nut. I wish the shocks were on it. And then that one gets the jam nut. About the same right there. Okay. Now, I think let's see, I can put my pins in so I don't lose those. For the seat. Just like that. That way they stay where they're supposed to be. And then we've got our kickstand. Probably be easier to do this with the wheels on. But I don't have the wheels ready yet, so I thought I'd get as much done as I could. And again, this is probably easier done with it laying over. Lock washer and nut. And then we got a spring. Not sure whether I'm going to be able to do the spring or not. We'll see. See if I can get her done without, sometimes it's easier to do when you got some mass. And go the other way. That's going to be a struggle. I can see that. Okay. A struggle that I didn't have to have somebody else watch me. Okay. So at this time I've got just about everything that I can put on it right now in there. So I've just got to get some chrome plating stuff back and get the engine together. So that's kind of where we're at. So just a little bit of recap of everything we got done today. Don't those foot pegs look better than those without rubbers on them? I'm sorry, I can't do the $50, $60 a piece for those things. I know I ruffled some feathers about that because I had some thumbs down on that video. You know, the only thing I was trying to bring to light was an alternative for those rubbers, because they're just so expensive if you can even find them. And I guess there's some purists out there that didn't like what I was doing. So, but that's okay. Everybody's got an opinion. Okay, there you go. We've got our assembly kind of started on the TC125. You know, it's a slow process. The plating really enhances what you're doing, because all those old rusty bolts and stuff that are just so expensive if you can find them, you know, the swing arm bolts, the axle bolts, all that special stuff with the little S on top of them. That's really expensive to buy. Some of it's not available. So if you want to use that kind of stuff, reuse it, you're going to have to replate them or have them replated or whatever. It's not that expensive a setup for about 1.5 gallon kit from Caswell, and they really do a fine job. You know, there's just a learning curve on it, and in this case here I was having trouble with it, but my solvents, solutions, all that stuff was well over 10 years old, and it had plated a lot of parts. So it was good to get a new set of solution, or get a new solution, and some new zinc anodes, and everything went a lot better than it did before. So thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.